Good afternoon, I guess I can say now, right? Since Jeff went on for so long. Thanks, Jeff. My name is Tracy Achenbach. I'm the Housing Director at East Central Iowa Council of Governments and also on the Livable Community Policy Board, the county's Livable Community Policy Board, which is why I'm in front of you today. So if you've been many of your faces are familiar to me from coming to some of our other sessions that we've had. So this is part of, I chair the Housing Action Team for the Livable Community Policy Board. And so this is part of our Aging in Place forums that the group on our action team has organized, and they go from May to October. So the Johnson County Livable Community, if you haven't been on the website, that's the website, livablecommunity.org. I encourage you to do that to learn more about it. There's our very own Jeff Kalbach right there. His picture is not quite big enough, I'm sure, but that's his contact information. Hopefully you've all gotten familiar with him because he has a lot of information for people to share. This is a picture that we took of the Housing Action Team last year. Some of the members are here, back here. Are there any? Jeff and I guess, also. Lorraine, you're sitting here. The group that has been working on the Aging in Place forums, and you can see there's many organizations that have been part of this. Really, the Aging in Place sessions came about because of a collaboration between the Livable Community Policy Board, the Greater Iowa City Area Home Builders Association, and the Iowa City Area Association of Realtors. So as some of you may realize, today's session, we're here at the Senior Center, which, by the way, big thank you to the Senior Center for hosting us today. Yes, because I'm sure we're not as much fun. And I know the lunch ladies I've talked to earlier, and they've had to accommodate us being here. But normally we're at the Iowa City Area Association of Realtors Education Center, which is on Quarry Road out of River Landing. So, aging in place is simply a matter of preserving the ability for people to remain in their home or neighborhood as long as possible. So that's why we're doing these series. So today's is about staying active, and that's not necessarily physically active, but it's staying active in your community. What can you do and how do you get there? So I have asked two people who I think know a lot about those things. One is Michelle Buman from right here at the Senior Center. She's the program specialist. And Kelly Snyder, we're also going to talk about transportation. So how do you get to the places that you'd like to go to so that you're not sitting at home by yourself? So Kelly Snyder, the mobility coordinator for the county, is also here to talk to you. So don't worry, you're not going to have to listen to me. So we're going to start with Michelle Buman. She's going to talk about staying active, what can you do, why it's important. Michelle is the program specialist at the Iowa City Senior Center. She has a master's degree in gerontology and over 20 years of experience of working with older adults. She is the chair of the board of directors for Trail of Johnson County and a member of the Johnson County's Livable Community Policy Board. So let's clap for Michelle.
Well, thank you, Tracy. I appreciate this. I don't have a lot of slides, so you're going to have to stare at this one for a little while. I am happy to be here and really thankful that I was invited to speak on this topic because this is something that's very important to me. After working at the Senior Center for the past 2 decades, I have witnessed the positive impact that staying active and social connections have on a person's quality of life. And it's more than what she said, it's more than just staying physically active. It's also about forming those social connections, making friends. And to bore you a little bit with the research that's out there, they've done a lot of studies about this, and that non-voluntary social isolation increases the likelihood of developing dementia, heart disease, depression, premature death, And in a 2013 study, they compared the health implications with smoking a half a pack of cigarette a day or having high blood pressure. In another study, they linked social isolation with alcohol abuse, self-harm, and suicide. So these are pretty serious things to consider when you're at home kind of being on your own and you're independent because you want to be independent. You know, it's not always the healthiest idea to take that route. Making new friends is a healthy thing for you to do. And according to AARP, studies show that the percentage of older adults who are isolated is continuing to grow. And I mean the percentage is growing, not just the aging population. So as the aging population grows, also that percentage grows. So that's the negative, that's the downside. If you want to learn more about the health implications of social isolation and loneliness in particular, I found this month, because I get a lot of literature because I'm kind of a geek, that the American Society on Aging, Aging Today, the current issue, there's a bunch of articles in here that address this particular topic. I can make copies of this for anyone who's interested after the program today. And I have other research articles that are available on that topic. So moving past the negative, because I could talk about that for over an hour, I would like to kind of focus on the positive and talk about how you can stay active and connected, and now that you know why. So in our community, you will learn today that we do have one of the best senior centers in the country, and that Johnson County has a wide variety of opportunities for people to stay active. We should be really proud of the variety of things. It's not just about the senior center. It's about our community libraries that offer programs. It's about the Parks and Recs department that have programs for you. Not just the Iowa City, but Coralville and North Liberty is doing a lot. But I'm going to start focusing our talk today about the Senior Center, and I want to welcome all of you who haven't actually been in the Senior Center before to the center, and those who have been here and coming here, thanks for supporting me in this talk, and thank you also to the meal program for putting up with us over the lunch hour today. So if you are not aware, the Senior Center puts together a program guide. It looks like this. We do this 3 times a year. So we have a summer session, which is happening right now, which runs May through August. Then we have our fall session, which will start in September and run through December. And then spring is January through April. And so our next program guide will come out in just a couple weeks, and registration will begin in August. And fall is our biggest program season. So right now this is 78 pages long. I anticipate the next one to be over 100 pages long. And the way that this is organized is in 4 different sections. So we have a fitness and movement, a health and wellness, liberal arts and sciences, and life and leisure. So you can find those sections. And our health and wellness, well, our fitness classes, even though this isn't the focus of it, what I have found that when folks come, they can come here to the Senior Center and they can exercise. Can everybody hear me? Is that a little better? They can come here and exercise on their own independently in our exercise rooms that are down on the ground floor. But if you're anything like me, it takes a group to keep me motivated, and kind of coming into a group that you come on a regular basis, you're kind of accountable to your friends, you create these friendships, and it helps keep me motivated to exercise. And here at the Senior Center, we have everything from tap dance, line dance, Be Moved. We have some social dances that you can come in, kind of on a one-time basis, that have recorded music or a live band. We have various forms of Tai Chi and yoga classes. All of our classes here are for a variety of fitness levels. So from folks who've never exercised before, or someone who's just coming off a rehab of something, or someone who's been a lifelong exerciser, you will find an opportunity here at the center. Under liberal arts and sciences, we have everything from creating art, mixed media, watercolor, drawing, art appreciation, culture, environmental issues, health, and, well, I said health, but history, literature, music, writing. In the life and leisure, it includes everything. That includes technology. So, you know, kind of hearkening back to that isolation and loneliness, there's this assumption that because we all have technology available to us that we're more connected, but the research shows the opposite, and especially for older adults that may not have been, you know, growing up with the technology or able to afford to keep up with technology, and the changes of technology happen so quickly. So here at the center, we offer all sorts of technology classes, and we have tech help. You can drop in on a Friday afternoon, and you can bring your phone, you can bring your laptop, you can bring your whatever device that you can bring. I've seen people bring in a desktop computer to get questions answered about that. Those are kind of like immediate 1 or 2 questions about something, so it's not a full-blown class. But if you have, like, I want to learn everything about this computer I just got and this laptop, we have a computer mentoring program. So that is one-on-one computer instructions for folks. It's here at the Senior Center. Usually once a week you can come in, meet with your tutor. You've outlined the goals that you want to achieve with that tutor, and you can do that year-round, as long as we have the volunteers. So there's no fee for that. There's no start or end date. It's just when you're available and when that volunteer is available. And we hope that helps you connect with your friends and family across the country, learning how to use Facebook and things like that to help you keep connected. We also have lots of life and leisure activities that are free, open to the public. Every Friday afternoon, usually in this room, we have a free movie. And that movie series is listed in our program guide, but if you're interested in the summer movie series, there's a list of what they're showing in the lobby or around our bulletin boards around the building. We have lots of card games, Mahjong, Scrabble, handcrafts. You can learn a new language. This fall, we're going to be offering a class in German. So Spanish, if you are new to the country and you want to learn English as a second language, we even have those opportunities. You want to learn more about gardening, we have the Master Gardeners coming in. They do programs for us. And we have traveling art exhibits like we have in this room right now, different art openings, concerts, and more. So I am not going to get through every single activity that we have here because we have over 200 activities. So I'm just trying to give you a brief overview. If you want to get a program guide, we have our current program guide at this table in our lobby. You can sign up, you can get it mailed to you, you can pick one up here, you can get it emailed to you, you can do all 3. We don't care. We want to make sure that you know what's going on here at the Senior Center. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, very important. We also have a wide variety of volunteer activities. So as I'm going through this laundry list of programs and activities that we have here at the Senior Center, some of you are saying, but none of that interests me. Well, what interests you? We want to know. I do the programs here. I do it based on feedback. I do it based on what it is that you and our community are interested in. So I rely on volunteers and community partners to make those happen. But I don't know there's an interest in it if you don't let us know. But beware, if you come and talk to me, I might recruit you to volunteer. Another way to get involved in our community is through volunteerism, and there are tons of health benefits about volunteering that I can't even start to talk about. So you're like, how do I get involved at the center? This all sounds very fun and exciting. Well, we do have a membership fee here at the Senior Center, and it was created not to keep people away or be a club or anything like that. It was created so that we can help afford paying for this building and our staff and to keep offering these programs. So if you can't afford our membership fee, which is $40 a year if you live in Iowa City, $75 a year if you live outside the city. We do have low-income programs, and that will help offset the cost of membership. We've given away a number of free memberships that, it's not a problem. We don't want to embarrass anybody. We want to make sure that our classes and activities are available. Then you're thinking, okay, now I came all the way down to Iowa City, and I got to find a place to park. Well, we do have a parking ramp right next door. If you didn't discover it already, the entryway to get into that parking ramp is through Iowa Avenue. And in the winter, there's a skywalk, or even in the summer when it's super hot, or just for whenever, that connects you to our building. And if you join the Senior Center, become a member, we do have membership. One of the benefits is you could purchase a parking permit. And when that ramp says it's full, you go through that permit lane and you can still get in and you can still find a place to park. So, and that's $100 a year. So if you're going to be here for more than 100 hours, you've paid for it already. So, because it's only $1 an hour in that ramp. And I can talk a little bit more about that or answer some specific questions in a minute. I said that we connect with a lot of different community groups. Another opportunity in our community is with the University of Iowa Senior College. They offer classes in the spring and in the fall. Some of those classes happen here when we have space, and some of those happen other locations. Their classes are typically 4 weeks long, 2 hours each week, $30. I don't know if they have any scholarship programs available or not. I'm not affiliated with them, but we try not to duplicate what all of the other community groups are doing. We try to connect with them, find out what they're doing, and offer complementary activities. So if you're, for instance, really wanting to know about opera, we'll do an opera class here and they'll do an opera class there, and you can different things through both groups. I'm also as Tracy mentioned, I'm on the board of directors for Trail of Johnson County, which of course I have a flyer for here. We have flyers on the back table. Trail, thank you, I was about to say, perfect. Trail stands for Tools and Resources for Active Independent Living. And there is a membership fee along with that, and there's also scholarships available for that. But through Trail, we offer lots of special events for our members. Those are events that might not be able to be run through the Senior Center. It might happen out and around the community, doing some dine-arounds and things like that. But they also have volunteer opportunities if you want to get involved with your neighbor, or if you know someone that might need a service, maybe a friendly visitor, someone who's homebound. Trail can do friendly visitor programs. They do a Rise and Shine program, so a daily call just to make sure that person's home safely, and also has a contact. We kind of circle back to that, how important it is to have that social connectedness. So so all of you are out and about in the community, you're participating in activity. One of the challenges that we have with all of the different groups that I'm involved in is how do we get folks who aren't in our space, who are not coming out and participating in activities to come out. So that's where I'm going to have a call to action to everyone in this room. I challenge you to stay engaged. I challenge you to go next door and talk to your next door neighbor who might not get out much. I challenge you to invite a friend to an activity, have a cup of coffee with you. Someone who might not be as engaged as you are, you might make a new friend out of it. They might become more engaged out of that. You might be adding years and quality of life to their life, and who knows, maybe yours as well. So that's my call to action to every single one of you in this room, is to do something with someone new and with someone else. And before I turn it over to our mobility coordinator, do you have any questions for me at this time? Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to her, but expanding on my call to action is that on this Friday, we have an event that is through our mobility coordinator here of Johnson County, where folks are meeting here at the Senior Center over the noon hour, and they go and grab a ride to Jimmy Jack's. That's right? Oh, shoot.
So it's on the 19th.
The 19th, Friday the 19th. Thank you. I'm already past this week, so that is something to announce, is that we're having some major construction done on Friday, and we're going to be closed this Friday. But she will tell you more about that program, and also more how you can get around our community in the various ways, and how you can help your friend when you achieve that challenge, get around the community. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Michelle. So one of the things that I did in thinking about this event, since we're the Livable Community Policy Board for the county and we're in the Senior Center in Iowa City, is I was thinking about the other communities in our county. And I have to tell you, I was shocked at how much goes on in the other communities. You probably all know that. So one of the things that I did, mainly just to remind myself, is, so this is the program guide for the Senior Center that Michelle referred to. I just took a picture of the covers of each. This is the activity guide for the City of Iowa City Parks and Rec. They're also over there on the table if you're interested in the general Parks and Rec activities for the City of Iowa City. In North Liberty, they have a flyer. It's actually 2 pages, so it's front and back. This is the senior lunch and the presenters that are happening at their senior lunch program. It looks really interesting, so I encourage you. Those are also over on the table, and so if you're interested in something like that, please grab one of those. This is the front of it, so it gives you and I don't expect you to be able to read it because I'm not the most handy at this. And then this is the back side of it. So you can see that they have a meal activity calendar, and then they have something on August 30th that they're featuring that's there. But I encourage you to do that. And then they also have a senior programs. Michelle and I were talking about this. It sounds like the Senior Center here is working with Angie and North Liberty on their programming. This is just their current senior programs, and of course all of these have, new things listed as they schedule in months coming. So make sure that you probably most importantly know the contacts, and these sheets are also over on this table, so please make sure you grab one if you're interested in those. That's at the North Liberty Community Center. And then Coraville has, through their Parks and Rec, have an Engage program, they call it. And they've got a lot of interesting things going on. And their information is also two-sided. It was also over here on the table. So make sure and grab one of those if you're interested. And then this is the back side of that same. So this is the Coraville then for their Parks and Rec. This is the different information. And then one of the things that I asked our marketing person or our PR person in my office, because I'm not capable, is to maybe, I gave her all the information, and I looked up information from the communities. So this sheet is over here, and what it really is to the best of my knowledge, a lot of times it's through the libraries and the Parks and Rec departments at the cities. So I contacted the libraries, I contacted the cities, the Parks and Rec, and I've highlighted a couple of things that are coming up in each of the communities and what each one has to offer. But notice, it's Lone Tree, Hills, Coraville, Oxford, Iowa City, Coraville we've talked about, North Liberty we've talked about, but Shueyville and Swisher. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening in our county, and it's encouraging to know that folks can get out and be interested in things all over Johnson County. So our next speaker, and I'm going to do a better job, I think, is Kelly Schneider, and as you know, she's the mobility coordinator for the county. Kelly has a BA in social work, and she's been working in that field for about 5 years, a little over 5 years. In her role now as a mobility coordinator, she calls herself the local tour guide for transportation. So she exists so that she can help folks figure out how to get from point A to point B, and she holds her hand sometimes if they need that, from what I understand. So I'm going to now turn it over to Kelly.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me come. It's really great to be here because I see a lot of familiar faces, some of those that have been on the bus with me before. We went to various places, but then there's also a lot of new faces here. So I just want to say hello and thank you for listening to me talk. Tracy explained it perfectly. As my role as a mobility coordinator is to connect Johnson County residents with transportation. Transportation looks a little bit different for everybody. We all have different addresses and different destinations that we're trying to reach. So the services that I provide are free and designed to meet the needs of the person that is trying to get from point A to point B. So if something that it would be helpful for you is to learn some technology components on how to look up what bus route you live on or how to read the bus schedule, or you're concerned about accessibility, whatever that need may be, that's what I'm here for. I do have some marketing and resources that are on the table as well. So if you would like to get in touch with me or have a conversation about transportation or your needs, that's what I'm here for. Or you can pass on that information to anybody in your networks at home. So to get started, I wanted to go over a very brief snapshot of transportation in Johnson County. So this kind of explains our ecosystem. So beyond the personal vehicle, how many of you, just a quick show of hands, have a personal vehicle or have access to drive yourself? A lot of you. Okay. How many of you are a public transit rider? Okay. All right. Perfect. So there's a few more of you that drive a personal vehicle. As we all know, as we age, the driving your own personal vehicle or having access to that can change. So what I'm here today is to talk about what options exist to get around town and get around the community not using your personal vehicle. All right. So starting with Johnson County, we've got the public transit. So we have Coralville Transit, Iowa City Transit, and CANBUS as our fixed route system. So the fixed route systems are those large 40-foot buses that travel around the town and pick up passengers along the way that are waiting at the bus stops. For those that cannot get to or board the fixed route buses, there is paratransit services that are for people with disabilities. So the paratransit services would be able to get somebody from door to door. So a lot of what I do is help people identify which public transit system is best for them, or how to communicate between each of those systems can be tricky sometimes. So I'm here to be your local tour guide and explain that process for you. If you're interested in applying for paratransit, or you're not really sure what that means or something like that, that's something I can connect you with as well. In addition to public transit, we also have several different taxis here in the community. Taxis would be a fare that you pay to the driver. Right now, the Yellow Cab of Iowa City offers a small 10% discount to those that are 55 and older if you enroll in their if you enroll in their gift card program. So just something to look for. We also have Corridor Rides. So Corridor Rides offers the 380 Express bus, which I think you can all see the different marketing stuff there. The 380 Express bus connects the Iowa City and Cedar Rapids, and there's several stops along the way in between those. As a senior, if you are 60 and older, you can actually ride the 380 Express bus for $1.75. So if you step on that bus and you have your ID and you're 60 or older, you can ride that for half the price that a normal passenger would. If you're interested in connecting to the Cedar Rapids community, I can explain how to use the 380 Express bus and how to get from one place to another. It's been a very helpful resource to the community. I worked actually with several seniors from this area that had medical appointments in Cedar Rapids, and they were able to use the 380 Express service to access their medical care in Cedar Rapids. So just a shout out to that service. In addition to the 380 Express bus, Corridor Rides also facilitates van pool and carpool. So they have those networks if that's something you're interested in. is for medical appointments. So that's a whole category of its own. There is the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. Has any of you ever heard of the RSVP program? Yes, okay. So there was a recent change with this program. Starting July 1st, the program is now being implemented by the United Way of Johnson in Washington counties. So just last week, they started onboarding all of the volunteers that will start fulfilling the role, and then they just hired a new staff person. So it's going to take a little bit of time for them to figure out what that program is going to look like, but the important thing is they have a lot of volunteers that are going to support that program. So what that program does is it helps seniors get to and from their medical appointments. It is a volunteer basis, so if you have a medical appointment that comes up and you maybe aren't sure if you want to drive that day or it's too far in an unknown area, something you can do is reach out to that volunteer network and see if there's a volunteer available to help get you to your appointment. So as soon as I have specific details and contact information about how to use that program, I will be sure to distribute it to Jeff and Tracy and definitely Michelle so that you guys know how to utilize that program. For those that have Iowa Medicaid benefits, not Medicare, but Medicaid, Medicaid program has non-emergency medical transportation built into that service. So this service allows Medicaid patients to get to and from their medical care for free. So whether you have a personal vehicle or not, the Iowa Medicaid program is built to get you to your appointments. So you have the ability to decide what type of transportation you want to use to get to your appointment. So if you're comfortable with it, a lot of times they'll use Yellow Cab of Iowa City to get you there. But if you have an accessibility need, you can ask for an accessible provider to get you to that appointment. If you're a Medicaid member and you're driving yourself back and forth to the appointments, you can ask for gas mileage reimbursement. So I have a specific flyer about Medicaid transportation off to the side. Again, this is a program that went through some updates July 1st, so take a peek at that. And just interjecting here, if any of this goes in one ear, over your head, out the other ear, somewhere, and I'm here to help navigate that. So I try to make myself an expert on all these programs. So if something piques your interest, keep in touch, and then we can walk through that process together. All right, another volunteer-specific medical transportation program is for the American Cancer Society. So the program is called Road to Recovery. Similar to the RSVP program, it is volunteers that are dedicated to getting cancer patients to and from their cancer care. So this is a pretty specific population, but if you know or anyone that needs to access their care and isn't able to drive themselves to their treatment, this is a program that has a pretty good volunteer network that they could reach out to. All right, intercity busing, I already talked about using 380 Express Bus. We also have Burlington Trailways that connects multiple cities in the Midwest. And then in addition to that, we have the Mega Bus. So getting into the phone numbers and service times and all the nitty-gritty details of that, I have the resource guides. One of them is going to look like this. And then the other one looks like this. So if you haven't grabbed them already, make sure you take one of these home with you. My contact information is printed on both of these, so I can help distribute those out anyway. All right, off in the corner, I kind of saved the best for last because, Michelle, your comment on technology and how you think that helps you become better connected, but it doesn't always. So I wanted to offer my assistance in explaining how to use some of the different technology components that are built to give you the information on transportation and connect you with your loved ones or your primary care doctor or whatever basic needs or socialization that you're trying to access. So the public transit information is now on Google Maps. Have any of you ever used Google Maps to plan a trip in your car from one place to another? Yes, a couple of you. Okay, great. So what's wonderful now is Google Maps is a very user-friendly platform, and you can now say, I'm at the senior center and want to go to the Coralville Mall. If you select the bus icon, Google Maps will then explain the step-by-step instructions on how to ride the bus from the senior center to the Coralville Mall. So this opens a world of possibility, or excuse me, a community of possibilities of where you can travel to. I got to bring it back in. I don't know how far you can go with this, but between CAN Bus, the University of Iowa service, at Iowa City service, and Coralville service, all of that information is all on the same platform. So it's a really great tool to become familiar with. If you're not comfortable using things like that, similar to the technology assistance that the Senior Center offers, I'm happy to work with you one-on-one to become familiar with that great tool. In addition to that, I can teach you how to use Bongo. So Bongo is a great tool for when you're riding to get a prediction on how soon the bus is coming to your bus stop that's nearest to you. Last but not least would be Uber and Lyft. So Uber and Lyft is two different rideshare companies that offer demand services in the area. So the prices of those services do vary based off the demand and the availability of drivers. But what's great about that is it does give you instant access. So similar to the way that Google Maps would give you instant directions, Uber and Lyft can send a driver to your door. So if there's a time that you can't get to your appointment, or a family member that you want to visit but you can't drive to that side of town, or it's too icy, Uber and Lyft is available in this community. I understand that those concepts can be a little foreign and unknown, so I have a lot of resources and a wealth of knowledge on using this service, and I'm happy to have conversations about how to safely do so, because there is some important things you want to know about using those services. Okay, moving along here. Bus trips. So this is definitely, hands down, the favorite part of my position when I get to take people out on the bus. So I get out behind the computer screen and out in the community. The best way to learn a new skill, in my opinion, is by actually doing that skill. So I can sit here and talk about, this is how you ride the bus. You need to be at the stop 3 to 5 minutes early. Once you get at this stop, you go to this stop. But if you're actually doing that with me along as your tour guide, it really kind of helps. So this is a photo of a group of Coralville seniors that I took out. We actually found it easier to ride public transit. They had set up a tour at the old Capitol over here. This is through the Engage program. And instead of all of them driving and parking and all these various parking ramps and getting the first hour free, it was a 2-hour tour, I need to mention, we all rode the bus together from the Coralville Rec Center and then to downtown. And guess what? In this situation, the Coralville bus got us closer to the old Capitol than any of the parking lots were. So it was a really great experience. And as you can tell, we had a lot of smiley faces on the trip. If that's something you're interested in doing, Michelle and I were just talking about how the summer bus trips that we've done have been a success. The seniors that have come along to the lunches have found it, not only do they learn a new skill, but they get to socialize and connect with their peers over the lunch hour. So you're welcome to come on any of those. If it doesn't work for your schedule and you still want to learn how to ride the bus, that's what I'm here for. We can definitely work one-on-one to learn that. So as Michelle mentioned, next Friday, the 19th, we're going to be going to Jimmy Jack's. So the plan is to meet here at 11:30. I cover the cost of your fare. You don't have to pay for the transportation to and from the lunch. You'll just have to pick up your own lunch for that. If any of you haven't been, Jimmy Jack's is probably one of the more favorite barbecue places around the area. So we're pretty excited about that. If you can't make it next Friday, on the 16th, we're going to Shakespeare's Pub. So that's one of a classic staple East Side location in Iowa City, and we're going to check that one out. That one's also on the bus line. I will mention that riding the bus does require some walking. I have the specific amount of time and miles and minutes that it requires to make these trips happen. But what's interesting is most of the time it's broken up into segments. So you might do a 5-minute walk, sit on the bus for a while, then go have lunch, and then do another 5-minute walk. So there is some walking required, but what's great about that is there is research that shows those that ride the bus actually meet their physical activity requirements for the day by walking to and from the bus stop. So that's just a little peace of mind to give you. Thinking of that also, I was thinking about the senior center, and the location in our community is really kind of a perfect spot because all of the Iowa City Transit buses and majority of the Coralville routes are actually connect to downtown Iowa City. So if you live in Coralville or Iowa City or University Heights even, it's likely that there's a bus route near you that can connect you to downtown and then is a 2-block walk to the senior center. So if you want to, just let's say I don't want to deal with the student traffic or the possibility that the ramp is full and you still want to come to the center, give me a call and we'll figure out what bus route you live on and what stop you're nearest to. Or if you're feeling up for it, you can pop onto Google Maps and find the bus stop that's nearest to you. Here's a quick snapshot of what that looks like so you guys can have an understanding. So this is just googlemaps.com. If you zoom in or type in your address, you'll see those little blue icons, which I'm now realizing are extremely small. So I'm going to zoom in there. And I think that's the farthest I can. Whoa, that was a bad idea. So, okay, so there's little blue icons on the map. Yeah, that's not going to happen. If you hover your mouse over that icon, it will tell you the name of the stop and the routes that serve that stop. So I wanted you guys to know that tool. All right. Last thing I'm going to talk about is the ways to save money. So both Coralville and Iowa City Transit offer discounts for seniors. So these passes allow you to ride the bus either for free or for a reduced rate. So it depends on which community you live in, and which and when you're riding, and some of them are based off your income. So I have another resource guide that explains how to apply for these. For example, if you are a Coralville senior, if you live in Coralville or North Liberty, you can apply for the senior pass there, and that allows you to ride the Coralville buses for free anytime. If you're an Iowa City senior that has a low income, you can apply to ride their buses for free during off-peak hours. If you do not have a low income, that rate would be 50 cents for Iowa City seniors. Okay, so what the gentleman over here was sharing is that Iowa City Transit also has a disabled bus pass. So if you aren't 60 yet and you have a disability, you can apply to use the disabled bus pass, which will actually also allow you to ride the Iowa City buses for free during off-peak hours. So I do have those applications, and that's that pass and the details of how to apply for that pass are also explained in the guide that I have over there that says public transit discounts. Another note, if you lose your copy, if you check out my website, I have all of these available for download. So you can store them in your own computer files or print them off at home if that's something you'd like to do. Is there any other questions? Yes. Do we need to get her a microphone or?
I'll yell it back to you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just wondered if Uber and Lyft is set up in North Liberty now.
So Uber and Lyft, the question was, is it Uber and Lyft in North Liberty? So the way that Uber and Lyft works is if there's a driver in your area that accepts the trip, there is Uber and Lyft in North Liberty. Yeah. So if you happen to be in Lone Tree and there's a Lone Tree driver that's accepting rides, as long as they accept your ride, then that will work for you. So it's strictly based off the availability of the drivers. And what we do see in our community is there's quite a few Uber and Lyft drivers. But one of the downsides of the service is it's difficult to measure how many drivers there are that are signed up to fulfill the rides. So it is a little bit tricky. But you can access the app and see how many drivers are available in the area. Yeah, and you can do all of that for free. It isn't until that you ask for a ride, a driver accepts it, and then you confirm it that the payment happens. Okay? Any other questions?
I'm just going to make a comment. I don't know if you said this, but on the buses, there are lifts and ramps.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to take a quick minute to talk about that. So the accessibility of the bus, all of the public transit buses in Johnson County are accessible. So the fixed route buses, again, those large 40-foot city buses that follow a designated route, have a kneeling feature where the bus can lower itself closer to the curb or the ground or wherever you're boarding the bus from. And if you need an extra level of accessibility, a ramp can flip out. So those of you that have walkers, wheelchairs, canes, or don't like stairs, this eliminates that process of having to do stairs for you. Ty Coleman, behind the video camera back there, and I are actually going to be recording a video next Thursday about how that accessibility looks. So the next time I come and talk, I'll have a video that explains what that looks like. So yeah, so stay tuned. In addition to that video, we're also doing a video that explains how to use Google Maps. So if I piqued anybody's interest on, getting a bus trip planned using that technology, be on the lookout for a video. We're very excited to be doing some scenes for that here very soon. Yes. My email address is kskhneider@co.johnson.ia.us. Yes, business cards. Yes.
I have a comment, 2 comments.
Yes.
I'd like to make quick.
Okay, go for it.
So, an additional transportation option that Kelly hasn't incorporated into her film yet is that Trail of Johnson County also provides volunteer transportation services door to door. It's a part of the wider network of transportation options in your community. They can't do all of your rides, but they do. I have a lot of volunteers that do transportation door to door, as long as you're able to get in and out of the vehicle on your own. The other thing I wanted to mention is if you happen to be here at the senior center and you want to ride a bus and you don't have a phone or access to any kind of application or whatever, we have new television screens in our lobby and we have the bus route on that. So you can see when the next bus is coming that will be near the senior center. That is, I think, mostly the Iowa City routes are ones that come close to us. But if you find that you take a route that's not listed on our screens, let us know because we can add that route. It's really easy to do.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to shout out on those 2 things.
Yeah, that's great. And so for those of you that are interested in any of the services that I talked to, Trail included, those are on my resource guides. So I might have Jeff start kind of distributing these. If anybody wants a copy, maybe just raise your hand and we'll make sure we get you one of these. I had a quick snapshot, but these go in a little bit more detail about how the services work. Was there any other questions about transportation or anything else? Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so I have up here on this last slide, thank you to Hills Bank. I'm going to have Carissa come up, and it was a great lunch, I'm sure. I'll enjoy it when I get to it, right? But I also wanted to just highlight the fact that we have sessions coming up August 14th. Again, we'll be going back to the Realtors Association Education Center on Quarry Road. That's on August 14th, and that's about changes to your home and resources to help. And Scott Haas is here from Habitat, who's been heading up the organization of that, and I've just asked him to say a few words about that so everybody kind of can get your appetites wet for next month, right?
So we found out that 90% of the people in Iowa want to age in place. And as many of you probably already know, as you get a little bit older, your housing needs are going to change. And so we're going to discuss what will be available what resources will be available, who you should call, who you should have making, giving you some advice on what changes you should make, and what financial resources will be available to help you pay for those. So this is not necessarily a very good announcement because I feel like I'm forgetting a lot of important details, but key thing is August 14th, 11:30, ICAR, next month.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming today. I brought the 380 Express cups and the koozies. I have more cups, so please take them with you because that means I just have to take them back to my car. Oh, and Carissa, yes.
Yeah, we just have, who doesn't need a small flashlight in their purse or in their car? So we have, you
Okay.
need one?
So Carissa has flashlights as well. So see, it's a giveaway day today. But please clear the tables off and ask me if you want more cups. I have more cups. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Ty and Tony, for taping us today. And we'll see you next month.